I'm Dusten Snyder, and I'm sure many of us are very aware of jobs here in the U.S. being outsourced to foreign countries. It is a fact that companies here in the U.S. have discovered, and not recently, that certain goods can be made or put together at a low cost by foreign companies using cheap labor. Sadly, the extremely low labor cost available to these foreign companies is usually more than enough to offset the high cost of shipping over thousands of miles. I am sure that it is a very easy decision when purchasing products to go with the cheapest supplier that can meet certain standards. A decision like that is not much of a decision at all, especially if your job depends on saving a company as much money as possible. It is a very basic and common practice for these companies to reduce costs. But is the method of outsourcing to save money out of control? Is the amount of outsourcing jobs to foreign countries draining our economy? According to Sharon Oddman from the Foreign Council Relations, some 3 million private sector jobs were lost to outsourcing during the years 2000 to 2004. Most of these jobs came from manufacturing. There is, however, a second side to the argument of outsourcing to foreign countries, and it can easily be viewed as an improvement to the United States. The argument is simply that when labor jobs are not available, it forces people to pursue an education, and in turn makes America a smarter country. I believe this argument to be true. I am one of those people. However, it must be considered that not everyone is capable of pursuing some sort of higher education. The second argument made by Sonia Arison from the Tech News World is that outsourcing improves foreign trade and thus allows America to develop new technology by using low-cost foreign products and or services. She also claims that America is extremely good at innovating and starting new businesses, and outsourcing can boost this efficiency. That's great if that's what you are capable of doing, but what about those that can't? What about those people not capable of starting their own business or inventing some new product? Say, for instance, those people with special needs. Shouldn't they have a right to participate in our economy? We need diversity in the workplace. Not everyone can be at the top of it. I myself felt comfortable knowing that by going to college, I would be able to get a job as an engineer. I think that most of us agree that by going to college, you should have a better chance at a better job. In reading or talking about outsourcing, it is becoming more and more evident that even those white-collar jobs we thought were safe to stay here in the U.S. are becoming susceptible to foreign outsourcing. For someone like me, midway through an engineering degree, that's a little scary. Now, I understand the need for global competition, and I am aware of what it does. For instance, if it were not for this type of competition, we may have never made it to the moon. Rather, the competition I am worried about is the countries that can produce an engineer who will work for around what would be minimum wage in our country. I don't mind doing my best work to be competitive, even on a global scale. In fact, I would encourage that. But to compete with these countries that offer jobs to people paying them next to nothing, simply because those people have no other choice, that's what scares me. The people who lived and worked before us here in the U.S. built up an economy and a lifestyle where people can do what they do best and be paid for it. In the past, America has used slavery, and we eventually discontinued this practice. However, one might be able to argue that the U.S. is still using slavery today by depending on products from those countries that do. Our country was not designed to enslave people to work for next to nothing. So my question is, why are we still supporting those countries that